And now, live from Rutherford, North Carolina, it's the Forest City Tribune podcast. Today's topic, ISIS and Iraq, why we should leave it be. And now, here's your host, John Thomas Hill. Well. Yeah, we thought that we had put Iraq to bed. But, yeah, things are getting really crazy in the Middle East again. I'm not sure if you heard about this new offshoot of Al-Qaeda called ISIS. It's a group that's basically so brutal and so vicious that Al-Qaeda themselves have denounced them. It takes a lot for one of the most vicious, violent terrorist groups in the world to denounce you. Now, you want to know how vicious they are? They're going into rebel towns in Syria and now Iraq and basically taking over, and if they find you guilty of breaking their version of Sharia law or Sharia law, they have been known to crucify people. That's scary. And they are probably the hardest of the hardcore when it comes to the terrorists out there. And it's just one of those really scary things that could potentially see some very dangerous conditions take place, not just in Iraq, not just in Syria, but perhaps southern Turkey, perhaps Jordan, maybe even Lebanon. And you know that if they start heading toward that direction, Israel's going to get involved. So what could have been a more stable situation, and let's face it, there is nothing simple about the Middle East. We had Iraq a few years ago when we left in 2011, fairly stabilized. Now, just because I say fairly stabilized does not mean it's actually really completely stabilized. For the Middle East, it was pretty stable. It's no longer. And it's because of this ISIS. And that's something that we should be concerned about, because there is going to be the temptation on the right wing to want to go back in there and try and clean this up. Here's the problem. The reason we left was not because Obama pulled the troops out. It was because the Iraqi government did not want us there anymore. Okay? The Iraqi government was the ones that decided that we should leave. And Obama did what they asked. We left. Now, is it our fault that this is happening? Of course not. We did what the Iraqi government wanted us to do. We left. Now, you're going to hear a lot of right-wingers bellyache about Obama being weak, which in fact he wasn't. Because what if Obama said, no, we're staying, and the Iraqi government decided, well, we're going to force you out? That would have made things even worse. So, if you're seriously thinking that we should go back in there and kick ass again, first of all, we didn't kick ass once Saddam was deposed and convicted. we got involved in a war that we could not legitimately win unless we wanted to really kick some ass, as in kill a lot of people and conquer the damn place. And we can't do that. The only way you're going to fully win the war in Afghanistan and Iraq is to basically kill a bunch of people and take over the whole operations. And the ones that survive, you put the fear of the United States in them. But guess what? You do that, you're going to piss off a whole lot more people, and you're going to open up an even bigger can of worms. You think we got problems now? And look at what the Soviets did in Afghanistan back almost years now. In fact, 30 years ago now. They got involved. They thought they would go in, take over the whole place, and it would be a cakewalk. 8 years later, they're leaving with their tail between their legs. I would suggest that had more to do with the collapse of the Soviet Union than anything that Reagan did. Because it showed that the Soviet Union could not get the job done in a pointless campaign. They wasted a lot of resources there that could have easily gone to Western Europe. So it is reasonable to say, hey, we got our butts kicked. If I'm a Russian, we got our butts kicked in Afghanistan. We're lucky. When we pull out, and we're going to be pulling out by the end of this year, probably, or